Good morning, Infinity players. Today we have a 200-point battle between my vanilla combined army and Dahshat Company. We're doing 200 points because the next event I'm running here in Santa Cruz is going to be a 200-point tournament. So we're just trying out 200-point lists, and I'm finding it pretty interesting. It's definitely different play styles. All right, so today we are going to play the Armory. Grab my pointer here, wherever that is. Okay, so the Armory, we all know this mission, right? Hold the room at the end of each turn for 2. At the end of the game, gain 1 more for holding it. Have more things from the panoplies, and 1 classified which can be used for intel. This game, neither one of us used intel, so we won't worry about that. You can see by the map down here, there's an exclusion zone, so no farther than 4-inch deployment out of your deployment zone. Of course, you can go into the enemies if you have, guys you want to push or impersonators or something. And inside the armory, there's 2 panoplies where you can pull out cool pieces of gear, and the 4 doors. In the current version of Armory, you cannot destroy doors, panoplies, or walls. And any specialist can open the doors, which opens all 4 of them. And anyone can open a panoply. Right? Okay. Moving on to my list. Thought a lot about this. 200 points. Points go real fast. Start with group 2 down here. We just have a lone Gaki. He's there to be a distraction. If he gets to berserk anything, that'll be great. Yeah, okay. You can see I have 2 big kind of hitter Protheon models, Norkius and a Caliban engineer here. So the plan for Armory is to send 1 of them in each turn to hold the Armory. And if you can hold the Armory for 2 turns of the game, you can probably win. If you get it for the 3rd turn, it's not as important. So Norkius, we have the hacker version, good for his marker state, and he's a pretty good killer hacker. Bit and Kiss, because they're also a very good killer hacker. They can also marker state, and they can put out the pitchers, which is really important. I really like that Bit has Oblivion, so she can threaten infantry, like heavy infantry, tags, remotes like that. So that makes her really good, as well as the pitchers, of course. My Q drone is basically my primary defensive piece. My Caliban. You know, the Caliban engineer here, it's interesting, right? He's got a slave drone. As far as we can tell in the rules, you don't have to tell them which camo marker the slave drone is attached to. There's nowhere in the rules does it say declare who he's attached to. You just deploy them at the same time, so that everything deploys at the same time. And then when he activates, then the game is up, because then you have to activate your slave drone. That's not optional. But as far as deployment goes, they won't know which camo token it is. In this case, when I deploy, you could read that. I'll see why we get to deployment. But we got the Graph Operator. Graph Operator is primarily here in case I have to go first. In Armory, you really like to go second. Scores end of each game round. Going second is very powerful. The Graph Operator is there to harass the enemy in the first turn and maybe set up some covering fire for them getting into the building. Because you want to, if you are going first, you want to get guys in there, probably. And you want to make it hard for them to get in there. You want to fight them in the room. You want to make it hard for them to get into the room. So you want to get around the objective room and put down suppressive fire, mines, or covering fire of some kind. It's also what the Shrouded is for. Excuse me, I'm fighting some allergies here. But Shrouded multi-sniper, he's a very cheap camo multi-sniper. And again, if you can make them fight him before they get into the room, it's pretty good. A couple Imatrons and 1 Daughter outside, and then an R drone. Yeah, pretty basic combined army stuff. Points go real fast, right? And this is what we have. Okay, over to, oh, yeah, I talked about that. 1 of these guys each turn into the room. Caliban turn 1, and possibly 2, and then Norkius turn 3. Okay, so my opponent's army. Obviously, I don't know all of it when we're starting the game. We've got what here will be a fire team Harris, the Rushi and 2 Zuyang. It's great Harris. You bring your specialist, bring your attack awareness and your HMG along with your Spitfire. Dozer, tractor mill, couple of flash pulses, Liberto. The Liberto in Dahshat can get, what do you call it? Mimetism. This one does not have it. It's 1 point. I guess he couldn't find it. I mean, 200 points. Points are pretty tight, especially when you have this many orders. It's group 2. We've got Gulam Link, which will be a core. Obviously, one of them is going to be the lieutenant. That's one of the drawbacks of Dahshat, is that your lieutenant's fairly obvious, right? I knew it was one of the Ghulams. It's good that he has two, so I would have to guess if I attack them. One Kumbiker, Hanzakut, who's awesome, and Bashi Bazook. Also really good, really efficient troops, the Hanzakut and the Bashi Bazook. Partially because they're irregular, right? That's one of the reasons they're so efficient. You're going to want to spend orders on them, so that's not so important. There are a fair number of irregulars in this group, though, right? 3. And then 2 in the first group, which is the Liberto and the attack awareness, so that's really only 1, the way I see it. Okay, moving on to the board. This is the board. I will end up deploying on this side. Give you a little look at this side of the board as well. There it is. A couple of things to point out. This piece will be played as a door. See better pictures of it later. For these mountainous pieces, we play the top is impassable. You can't walk on it, but the rest of this is just normal terrain. If we remember to, we make it mountainous terrain or something like that. We didn't think of it this game, so we didn't. Yeah. Okay. This is the other side of the board where I don't deploy on. My opponent won the lieutenant role and chose sides. So I'm deploying first over there, that he'll be deploying over here. This side does have some really good positions, like this rooftop. It's not totally clear from the picture, but it's got a really nice long line along the side of the tank, as well as down here into my deployment zone and covering, this approach. So while there are ways past that, right? You can cautious move past here, you can advance here, you can advance all over here, but this is what I would call a well-designed sniping position from a board design standpoint. It's a good position, you can see a lot of stuff. There are ways to approach without fighting it. So, okay, moving on to my deployment, starting on my right flank. I guess it's important to point out here that I chose to go second, despite the fact that I'm deploying first. Thoughts on that? We're playing 200 points, so possibly a little smaller order pools. I will take 2 orders away with a command token. They don't have any counterintelligence, so that should blunt his assault. And my defensive stuff is okay. I've got a flash pulse, I've got a Q drone, and I've got the sniper. That's really it for my defensive pieces. Everything else should just be hiding, except for a Kiss, who's kind of disposable for that stuff. So Norkius prone here. The flash pulse spot looking towards the objective room here. So if they try to come around the corner there, they have to find him. Moving over, got my Dahshat here. This is kind of a mistake. Dahshat is a little too exposed because that sniper is going to be able to see him right there. Probably should have started the game here. But this is where I put him. Q drone up there, again, covering this approach. Part of what the Q drone is doing here is protecting the Caliban who's here, Norkius, who's on top of this little ledge right here, and Bit, who's down there. So the Q drone isn't really contesting the room. It's just there to prevent him from rushing into my deployment zone on his first turn with anything. Bit down here, Kiss doing some overwatch. It's really only overwatching over there, which is not actually the best position for him as far as what he can see. I would love to have given him a better field of fire to put pictures out, but I didn't. The slave drone here, which will be prone. Bit will also be prone. Excuse me. And then a little follow to my left, I've got my Gaki alone over here, my Greif operator hiding behind the truck. There really was no good spot for the Greif operator. I put it there so that if they come around to try to mess with it, they'll have to deal with the Q drone and Kiss there. And then inside this little alcove, whatever, my 2 Amatrons. And this is, again, a little bit of a mistake. I put them there, I didn't roll for them because it's pointless. But rather than having them next to each other, in general, you should try to spread them out. So like I should have tried to land one here. And if it doesn't land, I can put it over there, right? And put one over there, or maybe put someone somewhere else. Which brings up a little bit of an interesting point in deployment. Also, we kind of talked about it earlier, about everything going down at once. My interpretation of the rules, which of course can be wrong, but kind of the way I think it is that when you deploy your army, you deploy your whole army at once. And then you make any rolls necessary. Which means I would deploy an Imatron right here, and one over here, and then I would roll for this one here, and then put it somewhere else if it failed. But I could not put one here, roll for it. If it fails, put the next second one in the same spot and roll for it. This may seem trivial, and it is in this case, but when you're playing against US Ariadna and they have 4 infiltrating grunts with heavy flamethrowers, and they really want one right here, I don't believe they can try all 4 of them to that one spot, right? They place all 4 of them where they want them, and then they make all their rolls. Ariadna players generally don't agree with me in that interpretation. You can see why, but I think it's pretty clear in the rules. There's nothing in deployment that says deploy one model, then deploy the next model, then deploy the next model. It says you deploy your army, except for your reserve, of course. Anyway, this has come up in discussion a couple times recently, which is why I bring it up here. Okay, this is my HVT tucked in the corner over here. And my opponent's deployment. Again, my reserve is going to be my Shrouded, because I want to get some good angles with him. And my opponent's reserve will be the Zuyang HMG, which will flesh out this Harris. But his regular deployment, we've got the Kum Biker, the Gulam Sniper, Gulam, another Gulam in the building here. I assume that was the lieutenant. I don't really know. It didn't come up. Rushi, flash pole spot, the Zuyang forward observer. Yeah, forward observer there. The Dozer engineer moving across. Camo token, no mimetism, so that's the Liberto. Camo token, camo token. This one here ends up being the Hanzakut. Of course, I don't know it when I start. Opponent's kind of playing the game of which one's the mine, right? Because when you see the zero mimetism here, you know it's a Liberto. You see two camos within 8 of it. Either one could be the mine. The other one's going to be the something else. Then we got a flash pulse in the baggage bot over there. I don't know if you noticed when we were talking army list up there, but the opponent's more of an even split in the orders, right? With the Hanzakut and the Bashi Bazook in a link with some remotes, or excuse me, in a group with some remotes, and then the Gulams, and then the other group being the Zuyang Harris. Okay. Here's my reserve. It's my camo token way back here. It is in my deployment zone despite its infiltration, because I really like this long line down here, right? And I can actually already see this Zuyang right here. So if this duo at the moment activates, I'll get sniper fire on that. And it kind of covers the approach from anything on this side of the board to the objective room, right? Anything trying to get over there, including the Zuyang, the Rushi, the Biker. What I didn't really count on was how easily this is countered by smoke, because we got a Biker here with smoke, right? And you'll see that as soon as we start, but that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so my opponent's reserve is the TAC awareness HMG right there, which is the other Zuyang. All right, so I stripped 2 orders from the group with the Harris in it, because I know this Rushi is deadly. And we're off. The Biker zips forward, throws some smoke that way. It's his impetuous order. He's going to be impetuous. Excuse me. The smoke lands right there, and that pretty much counters my sniper, right? Because I can't see through that smoke down that whole line. So that's really good on his part. He did assume it was a sniper. I've used the Shrouded Sniper before, so it's not totally unexpected for me. And when he sees a camo token in my deployment zone, despite being in my deployment zone, a camo token with line of fire all the way down the board like that, he's pretty sure that's what it is. Okay, so there's where the smoke goes down. His sniper then activates, and this is where it can engage the Dahshat and the Gaki. A little sloppy deployment on my part to allow that from that position, but he's able to do it. I go for a smoke dodge on the dot, right, to put the smoke here. I don't want to cover the Q drone. And regular dodge on the Gaki over there. The Gaki's killed by the sniper fire, and the smoke goes right like that, covering the Dahshat. So Biker then moves over, throws most smoke over to this corner over here. That's where it lands. Then the Rushi team starts moving up. You see how good this would have been if my sniper could see through that smoke, right? I would basically have 3 shots of that guy. And the way the Harris is set up, only the Rushi can be the leader, right? If this guy's the leader, the Zuyang would drop out because it's sort of way over there. Now they're close together, it doesn't matter. But for that first order, you would have had to have had the Rushi be the lead. They move up a couple times. The forward observer over here moves up, opens the doors. Rushi moves up. This is a smoke here, so it's, the smoke's doing something like that. So he's in smoke. And Rushi then takes back over for the Harris, pops over and engage the Q drone here, puts it unconscious. I think he also threw 1 or 2 shots at the Dahshat here, but the dot successfully dodged. He got out of the way. Pretty sure that's what happened. All right, back to the Harris. I'm moving around here a little bit. I remember one of them went inside, which I think was the FO, and failed to open the box. It failed the panoply. And they did a little more shuffling around, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of how they end up. with the HMG prone over here, Zuyong guarding this corner, and the Rushi guarding like that. And then we move over to the other side with the Hanzoku using the other group's orders. It's going to advance up this way. When it comes across here, it's going to be seen by obviously the Greif operator, the Q drone, and Kiss. I think maybe the Dadaratsu dodged over that way too, so it can also be seen by that. Someone throws a Discover over there with a couple of holds, and the Discover works, revealing the Hanzoku. The Hanzoku had ended where it could still see the impersonator here. There's the impersonator who reveals when the Hanzoku decides to do a Discover shoot at him, because he's within 8, so he's discovering me on like a 17. So I gotta take a shot. I indeed do take a shot, and I hit the Hanzoku. He saves but fails his guts, so he falls back that way a little bit. So we can see him. No, we can't see him, but he's right around that corner. And this is the other side. Yeah, the Dadaratsu has done some dodging to here, then over to there. Kiss fired the adhesive launcher, didn't do anything. Yeah. The Dadaratsu threw a smoke at this point, I think, to cover the Greif operator. Remember, the Greif operator has a visor. So if I get a chance to shoot at the Hanzoku again, I'll be in smoke and he'll have to shoot into it. In the first engagement where he discovered him, I think he should have just put 2 shotgun templates on the Greif operator to very likely kill him. But he split fire between the Greif and Kiss up here. He didn't want to get glued down. I think I would have risked it for the templates, but he didn't. Okay. We are into my first turn already. Okay, that's what I was going over in this order here. So my impetuous order, the Dadaratsu, was about here. Somewhere over here. Enough that it impetuous that way as opposed to that way. So he runs over there and throws the smoke down over here to block that sniper, block the Gulam sniper. I then activate the engineer who's in the smoke now, and he walks over to here, remaining in the smoke. And the little bot is able to move over and move back and heal my Q drone, which was my classified. So got my classified down. Now the Caliban who's here in the smoke is going to re-camo for an order and then move out. Then it moves up to through here, then moves again to there. He gets. How did it go down? He got a hold from the Rushi, a discover from the sniper, and a dodge from this gentleman who had to declare it when I was over here because I did not use stealth in moving up. I guess he could have held versus camo, but he didn't. He dodged. So Zuyong makes his dodge and just tucks over that way, and the Gulam fails his discover and end up as a camo token right here. So first thing I do is move to the corner of that computer stack and surprise shot the Rushi, putting it unconscious with my submachine gun. Yeah, okay. And then I move over here into close combat with the Zuyong. His Liberto is here. It's going to reveal to shotgun me. Bang, bang, bang. And I'm going to put a decharge on him and cause 2 wounds, gaining 2, and the Liberto misses. So there I am with my extra 2 wounds. Caliban then is going to back up over to here, do a little SMG fight with the Liberto. Nothing happens. And then I really, really want to go back into camo here. Really, really want to. But pretty short on orders. So instead, I decide to activate Bit and Kiss and just move Kiss around a little bit so that I can see into the room and drop a repeater. I fired 2 repeaters, one there and one there. Only one hits, that one there. And that's important because the Zuyong HMG is right out here, and Bit can oblivion him if he starts moving around. But I realize as I'm doing this that the Liberto is going to activate. He's going to move up. He's just going to shotgun this repeater and kill it. So maybe it was a bad move, and I would have rather used that order to re-camo or something else. But I'd already declared it, so I did it. Then Norkius will use his lieutenant order just to go into Cybermask because he'll be moving out eventually. May as well be Cybermask. All right, so opponent's turn 2. I've scored on turn 1, right? Because I had my Liberto or my Caliban in the room, unopposed. Liberto moves up, puts 2 shotgun templates on the repeater. The repeater saves. If Liberto moves up again, or from here, like steps back to see it, then moves around the corner, puts 2 more shotgun templates on the repeater. It saves again. That's 4 saves in a row for the repeater. Outstanding. Very annoying for my opponent. Liberto then keeps moving up like this. No arrows for me at this point. It's going to move by, and then it's going to move. Okay, I guess not next. It will, but not next. We get over to the Hanzoku, who's behind this building. I think it creeps over here and shoots and knocks Kiss unconscious. And then it recamos. Yeah, puts Kiss unconscious. Recamos, comes around the corner over here. I get like a hold from the Q drone and something else, but nothing important. It walks in here. And then it's going to shotgun these guys, putting both of them unconscious. Yeah, here's the picture of that. There he is. There's everything that's seeing him going in. But doesn't stop him, right? He's in there. He puts them both unconscious. He, of course, hits both of them with 2 templates each. And each one makes a save and fails a save. So they're there. All right. Now we get to the Liberto. He walks across. The Caliban, who was here, has had a couple of dodges from the Liberto moving around, and he just like dodges out of the room. I'm just basically running away to make him spend more orders to engage me. Because I don't have to be in the room, right, at the end of his turn. I have to be in the room at the end of my turn. Liberto leaves a mine in there. Liberto then, after that mine, peeks around the corner here to see the Caliban. Gives the Dahshat a dodge, who's back over here. The Dahshat had thrown a smoke already this turn. That's what that is. I think it was when the Hansaku tried to shoot him on the way in. But the Caliban shoots the Liberto with a shock round and kills him. Liberto puts 2 shotgun templates on Caliban. Caliban saves both of them. So that's already a lot of armor saves I've made here. But Caliban's just fine. And then the HMG decides to move around despite having not been able to kill the repeater. He moves up to here to get a shot at the Q drone. For his trouble, he takes a wound from the Q drone and gets isolated. But fortunately, my opponent did not use the tactical awareness order to do that. He just used a regular order. So now he still has his tactical awareness order. He fails guts and kind of bounces back to here. And then it uses the tactical awareness order to set suppression fire. At which point, I remembered, right after he said it, that isolation cancels suppression fire. It's a little weird rule. I guess it represents that, you don't want to be shooting bullets wildly when you can't talk to your teammates to know where they are. I don't know. But you cannot be on suppression fire while you are isolated. So instead, he decides to, I think he tries that shot again. He moves up and then back into the room with the attack awareness order. Obviously, Bit can't oblivion him again, doesn't matter. And nothing happens on that shot. It's just a push with the, I think we both rolled 4s or something. Yeah, nothing happened there. Okay, so then we're moving on to my turn 2. Yeah, this is him looking at the Q drone. You can kind of see the line of fire there. That's about it. Yeah, he ends up isolated, and that's his attack awareness order and wounded. A little annoying that these tokens are almost all the same color. Right? This is where he ends up in the turn, just kind of right there. And then my opponent realizes that he has an engineer with a gizmo kit. So he stands up, fires his gizmo kit within 16, and the Rushi stands back up. Now that would have been a much better play if it had been the first thing he did in his turn, not his last, right? Because then he could have engaged with that Rushi, but Rushi stands up, which is better than being dead. Move on to Combined Army turn 2. The Dahshat impetuously runs forward, triggering the mine that is right here. Mine goes off. I fail my dodge, but make my armor save, because armor saves are on the ball this game. Caliban. I really want to recamo for all that action, like surprise, but I'm really low on orders. And there's a couple things I want to do this turn. Right? I want to get Caliban in there. I want to kill both of them. And I'd like to stop that Hansaku from just harassing my sides. So Caliban moves in. SMG fight here. Put him unconscious. Creep around a little farther. You're able to shoot through there. And this time do a complete 3 wounds to the Rushi, taking it off the board. And then Caliban is just going to... So with the coordinated order, Caliban's going to fall back. And I'm coordinating here because I think I've only spent 1 command token so far. And I want to move Norkius up, Caliban back, but stay in the room, and Dahshat back, actually. Dahshat is going to run back into my deployment zone to deal with that Hansaku. So coordinated order, Norkius moves up. He is an impersonation token. This is how we usually do it, just to remind them that he is impersonated, but still use the model. Yeah. He runs into this little room. Caliban swings back over here into his hidey hole, and Dahshat runs back. That's coordinated. Then regular orders, move to here, trigger a dodge on the, this is irrelevant. He could have declared speculative shoot. Don't think it would have really made a difference. I would have then declared dodge, and then maybe dodge through and berserked him, or maybe had to just, if I fail that dodge, move through and attack him normally. But either way, I move in there, declare a berserk, Right? Hanskun is just going to be smushed by that. Put a shotgun template on the dot, which is of course the right answer, and the dot again makes an armor save because we're making all our saves this game, which is wonderful. All right, this is Dahshat turn 3. Biker moves up. I think he threw a smoke. Yeah, he threw a smoke somewhere. Engineer moves up, trying to get guys to the room, right? And maybe get panoplies. Moves up again. As soon as he gets to the door, he can see through here to the Greif operator. Engineer fires, puts Greif operator unconscious. Of course, the Greif operator fired back, but didn't do anything. Yeah, there he is. Poor Greif operator. He does well. Okay. Engineer moves into the room, gets something out of the panoply. I don't remember what. I mean, it doesn't matter. Doesn't think it's worth an order to attack the repeater anymore because I don't have any regular hackers. Right? All his heavy infantry is down. His remote's destroyed, so he's just in the room. And then using orders from the other room, Biker runs over, puts a smoke grenade here, and then he's going to dismount so he can get in the room, come around the corner, and really he has to kill the Caliban in order to have any chance here, right? So Caliban has 3 wounds, and the Biker has a chain rifle and a pistol. Definitely doesn't want to get in close combat with me because Calibans are insane in close combat, like 26 after my martial arts. Chain rifle with me isn't going to be effective because I'll just ignore it, shoot him with a shock round, at least for the first 2 chain rifles, right? So very unlikely that'll work. So he comes around the corner, he starts pistoling me, which it's not a great play, but it's what he has. Comes around, he's using the Liberto to represent the dismounted guy. Comes around over here, I don't care about my dodging, and he just shoots at me a couple times and fails. Right, doesn't do wounds to me, which is not that surprising. I did make a couple more armor saves, I think, against the pistol. And that's where the game ends. I have a turn 3. There's really nothing that I have to do. I have more points in the room with just that Caliban. In a tournament, yeah, I would have gone for the extra 2 points by going to get the thing out of the panoply, because I think we both had one thing. The Caliban opened it at one point, got a monofilament close combat weapon, which we probably will never use. But I was going to say, okay, so despite objective points there, the attacks my opponent did were pretty good. The Liberto attack in the beginning was good against the Caliban, just didn't work out because I made a couple armor saves. And this kind of emphasizes the turn 2 in the mission, right? If you have a good counterattack force, which in a 200-point game is a Caliban, right? Some kind of heavy infantry, 2 wounds, who's tough in close combat. Zensho would have been a good thing we talked about. But yeah, you really need a plan for the Armory. You really need a plan if you're forced to go first in the Armory, right? I had a bit of a plan of using my sniper and my Greif operator to engage the enemy and suppress and make it hard for them to get in the room. And my opponent didn't really have that planned. Like, he wanted to go second, he knew that. So he chose deployment, hoping I would choose to go first. But once he was stuck going first, it was very difficult for him to either kill enough to stop me from being effective, right? It's very unlikely to do that in the first turn, or to get things in the room that are durable enough to survive. Yeah, so that's how the game ended. Hope you enjoyed it. If you think you would like it, try some 200-point games. They're definitely a lot different. And let me know what you think, how you like that, I guess. Ciao.